Algebra 2 lesson 74 talks about finding the discriminant given a quadratic equation. We should already be familiar with what it is that we're going to be working with today because you've already been introduced to the quadratic formula, right? If I have ax squared plus bx plus c, and I wanted to write the quadratic formula from that, I'd get negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Are we familiar with that? Okay, we know how to go from the quadratic equation to the quadratic formula. Is that correct? All right. So what we're talking about today is the discriminant, and the radicand, or the square root of b squared minus 4ac, is called the discriminant. The discriminant can be used to tell if the equation has 0 zeros, 1 or 2 solutions, 0, 1 or 2 solutions. Okay? So, and by that, what we are looking for is we actually don't even need the square root. All we need is this. Okay? So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. Okay? So we're going to take that quadratic formula and we're going to take just a small portion of it, in fact, a very easy portion of it, and we're going to be able to determine something right off the bat with it. Okay? And so we're going to show you 3 things, okay? And that's what's found here, okay? If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, okay? If that solution comes out greater than 0, then there are 2 real roots, right? And there are 2 x-intercepts, so that a graph of it would look something like this, okay? Where I'm going to have 2 real x-intercepts. Okay, 2 real solutions. Does that make sense? Okay? And you can find examples of what those graphs look like on page, let me get over there, page 528 in your book. Okay? If b squared minus 4ac actually does equal 0, it all cancels out. What we end up with is 1 real root, okay, where I might get something like this, where it touches at exactly 1 point, has 1 x-intercept. The vertex is on the x-axis. Does that make sense? Hopefully, a little bit. Okay, so that's what a graph would look like. It's 1 real root. And then if it's less than 0, which means I'm getting the square root of a negative number, right? Anything less than 0 is negative, correct? We can wobble our heads up and down. We get that, understand that. Okay. Sometimes I feel like when we have a long break like this, we automatically lose 4 years off our math knowledge. Like we're back in upper middle school in terms of what we remember and what we know. Okay? At least act like we know something today, okay? All right. And then if it does equal something that's less than 0, it comes out as a negative number, what we're actually getting is something that's like this, right? It does not touch the x-axis. Okay, so there is no x-intercept. There's 0 x-intercept. Our roots are complex. Okay, do you follow me? All right, so b squared minus 4ac, greater than 0, I'm going to get 2 real solutions. Greater than 0, 2 real solutions. Equals 0, 1 real solution. Is less than 0, I get 2 complex solutions and 0 x-intercepts. Okay, hopefully we've got all that information down. Yes, no, maybe? Okay. All right, well, let's look and see if we can't solve some problems, because I think that should put us at the end. Yep, you don't need that. Okay. All right. So they're going to ask us questions where they want us to describe the roots. All right, and that's not the band on the Tonight Show. Okay. Which describes the roots 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So how do I take this information and actually find out what the discriminant is? Do we remember what our discriminant was? What was our discriminant equation? b squared minus 4ac. So how do I take 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 and put it into that? What is the b there? Negative 5. Negative 5 squared minus 4. What's a? 2. And what's c? 3. So let's solve this. What's negative 5 squared? 25. So I have 25. What's negative 4 times 2? What's negative 8 times 3? Negative 24. Okay, so negative 24. What's 25 minus 24? 1. Okay, 1. What is the relationship of 1 to 0? Is 1 greater than 0? 1 is greater than 0. Okay, so how many how many roots am I going to get? 2, because 2 is because 1 is greater than 0. So long as my discriminant is greater than 0, I'm going to get 2 real roots. Real roots, not complex. Okay? You with me so far? Does this seem fairly easy? We're just going to keep kind of plugging things into that equation to see what we get. Okay? All right. Let's clear this out. I'm going to leave my discriminant equation right up there at the top. All right. Number 2, find the number of solutions of the equation 7x squared plus 9x plus 5 by using the discriminant. All right. Christian, help me out here. What am I going to write? Very good. What's 9 squared? 81. And what's negative 4 times 7 times 5? What should we, okay, you've got it. You're going to try to get there on your Chromebook. $140. Okay. Is that positive 140 or negative 140? Negative 140. What is 81 minus 140? Negative 59. What is the relationship of negative 59 to 0? Less than. All right. So is my discriminant greater than, equal to, or less than 0? Less than. So what does that mean? How many roots am I going to get? 2 complex roots. Okay. 2 complex roots. Okay. Do we feel like, man, at this point, I could probably start doing my homework, right? Okay. We only have 7 questions. We've got, what, 2 of them down? We can get the next 5 done pretty quickly, I think. Okay. Number 3. Let's come back to Jose. Jose used the discriminant to describe the roots. What am I going to do here? Negative x squared? No. Janet, what do you think? Add 9 to the other side. All right, because right now it's not in the quadratic form, right? Yeah. Is that what you were saying? Did I misinterpret what you were trying to tell me? Okay, so now what do I want to do with this?
Negative x squared.
No. I only want coefficients. What number is in front of x squared? 1. Okay, so I'm going to use what? Look up here. I've got b squared minus 4ac. What is my b? Okay, we've got a 1 there. What is b? Not just 6, it is negative 6. So I'm going to do what? Square what? Negative 6 squared. Then what? Okay, what's negative 6 squared? 36. Okay, what's negative 4 times 1? Okay, so you're doing the whole thing then, right? Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. All right. What's 36 minus 36? 0. Is 0, what's the relationship of 0 to 0? Are they equal to each other? All right. If my discriminant is equal to 0, okay, how many solutions do I have? 1 real root. Okay? 1 real root. Okay? You guys follow so far? Right, and the reason that works is because if my square root cancels out, then I'm just getting a number over a number, right? Because all I'm left with is that negative b over my 2a, right? Because all of the other stuff canceled out, right? Which means I only have one real solution for x, okay? Which is the reason it works out that way. All right, let's look at number 4. Workers preparing for the city's 4th of July celebration shoot a cat straight up with an initial velocity of 210 feet per second squared from a height of 3 feet above the ground. It just said an object. I figured it'd be more realistic, it would be better fit in our mind if we imagined that that object was a cat. Okay. Will the cat reach a height of 670 feet 0, 1, or 2 times? Okay. Use the equation h, or height, equals negative 16t squared plus vt plus c, where v is the initial velocity in feet per second, c is the initial height in feet of the object above the ground, and we want to use the discriminant to explain our answer. Okay? Okay. So, let's see, we have negative 16t, right? Negative 16t squared. Can anybody tell me what v is? What's my v number? 210. 210 is my initial velocity. So that's my t. Plus, what is my c? What is it? What does c stand for? Initial height. What is my initial height? 3. Okay, so we're going to take this, right? We're going to plug it into our discriminant, correct? Okay, Emily, help me out here. 210 squared times 3. Okay. All right, so we should get some fairly large numbers here, right? 44,000. Is that what you said? You got 100? I got 44,292. Let's see. I wonder why my answer came out as different than yours. Let's try this. Okay, so 210 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 3. I got 44,292. What did you do differently? Oh, you just did the 210 squared. Okay, I'm sorry. So you said you got 44,100. I'm guessing negative 4 times negative 16 times 3 is probably going to be 192. Okay, so we get, in either case, we get 44,292. What is the relationship of that to 0? Greater than 0. Which means what? Means it's going to have 2 real roots. All right. So we're asking the question, is it going to reach this height 1, 2, or 0 times? Okay, so what do you think? Is it going to reach it 0 once or twice? Okay. You think 2 times? Okay. So let's see. Because let's see, if we imagine our curve is actually going like this, right? We're shooting that cat up into the air, right? And we want to see if it's going to hit 210, right? It actually hits it going up and it hits it coming down, so it does hit it twice. Okay, does that make sense? It goes all the way. How many of you are really upset that we launched a hypothetical cat into the air? No, but Mr. Miguel, sorry. He's a cat person, I guess. Okay. 5, a gardener has 200 feet of fencing material to enclose a rectangular area of land. She wants the fenced-in area to be 2,500 square feet. The equation W times 100 minus W equals 2,500 gives the width that meets these requirements. We want to use the discriminant to explain why these requirements can be met. All right, so let's start off with this. Can I distribute that W to the 100 minus W? Yeah. What's that going to give me? All right, I could write that as what? W squared, negative W squared plus 100W equals 2,500. All right, but we saw a question like this earlier, right? Could I do this? Could I actually move everything over to the right-hand side so that I got a positive W? Right? Could I add W squared over there and so I got W squared minus 100W plus 2,500. Could I do that? Do we understand how we got that? Okay. All right. So let's go from here. Okay. So what's my B here? Negative 100 squared. Okay. Minus 4 times 1 times 2,500. Okay. Negative 100 squared. What would that be? 10,000? Be 4 zeros, right? 10,000. Okay. Minus, we got 4 times 1 times 2,500. So what's negative 4 times 2,500? What's it? 1,000? Negative 1,000? Negative 10,000. Okay, what's 10,000 minus 10,000? 0. Okay, and because 0 equals 0, that means there must be how many solutions? There's one solution. All right, so that's how we know. There's one real root, so one width meets the root requirement is what we would say. There's one width that will meet this requirement. Okay, does that make sense to us? Hopefully. Okay. All right. We're getting close to being done here. Use the discriminant to describe the roots of the equation. What do I need to do first with this equation? What do you think, Maddie? We got 9x squared plus 4x equals 3x. We got to move the 3x to the other side. How do I move 3x over to the left-hand side? Subtract it. Right, because 3x minus 3x is going to be 0 over here. All right, so we should get 9x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0. Can you help me find a discriminant there? What's my b? So we're going to do negative 3 squared minus what? 4 times 4, okay. What's negative 3 times negative 3? No, negative 3 times negative 3 should be 9. Okay. Then we have negative 4 times 9 times 4. $144 minus 144. What's 9 minus 144? Is it like negative 135? Negative 135. Because my discriminant is negative, it means it's less than 0. So how many roots am I going to get here? 2. What kinds are they? Are they real or are they complex? 2 complex roots. Okay? So my answer is on number 6 is we're going to have 2 complex roots and no real roots. Okay? All right, finally, number 7. Number 7. Okay? A frame maker has 24 inches of framing material with which to make a picture frame. He wants a frame picture. He wants to frame a picture that has an area of 56 square inches. The equation, you notice that this is a lot like, if not exactly like the other one. The width of the frame that meets the requirements. Use the discriminant to explain why these requirements cannot be met. So what do I want to do with that W first off? Jose? Jose? What do I want to do first with this? Number 7. Multiply?
Yeah.
All right, what do I get when I multiply?
Negative 30 squared.
Okay,
12W.
plus 12W, right? Okay, equals 56. What are you going to do from there?
Subtract.
Subtract what? Okay, so you're going to get negative w squared plus 12w minus 56 equals 0. Okay, what are we doing from there?
Multiplying 12 squared
12 squared
minus 4, negative 1
negative 1
times
56 negative 56. Okay. Okay, 12 squared is what? 144. Negative 4 times negative 1 is what? 4, so what's 4 times negative 56? Negative 224. Okay, what's 144 minus 224? Negative 80. Okay, so can you tell me why I can't get a measurement for my width that's going to meet the requirements? What is the relationship of negative 80 to 0? Less than. How many real roots do I have? I have 0 real roots, right? I've got 2 complex roots, but because we're talking about distance with length and width, can I get negative measurements? No. Okay, so there's 2 complex roots. There are no real roots, so no real number is going to fit the requirements. And we have to have real numbers in order to build stuff, right? Okay, so that's my answer for number 7. That concludes today's lesson and video. I'm going to hit stop here, and you guys can get to work with what time you've got left.